Ancestor. The first elder from the pill tower by the side revealed a joyous expression after noticing the green-clothed youth beside Xiaoyan. He respectfully cried out, "Greetings to Ancestor." Xiaoyan did not dare slight this shockingly old existence. He immediately cupped his hands together and politely gave a greeting. "Why are you so courteous?" The ancestor of the pill tower waved his hand. His clear eyes contained some surprise as they swept over Xiaoyan. He laughed. "How unexpected. The purifying demonic lotus flame even I could not subdue has actually fallen into your hands. Such a lucky opportunity is really a source of envy." A divine object like the purifying demonic lotus flame was something that even the ancestor of the pill tower coveted despite his strength. However, no one had ever successfully subdued it after all these years. Xiaoyan merely grinned when he heard the pill tower's ancestor laughter. He had subdued the purifying demonic lotus flame by luck. If the remnant image of the purifying demonic lotus saint hadn't activated the formation and committed suicide with the demonic flame, he would not have been able to subdue and refine the demon flame that this ancestor of the pill tower could not fight even if he was many times luckier. The pill tower is also a member of the Sky Mansion Alliance, and all of you will be sharing glory or destruction together. Being the pill tower's guardian, I cannot keep myself away from this matter. The ancestor of the pill tower's somewhat tender face looked at Xiaoyan. There was an unknown feeling within his eyes. He had lived for so many years and had become extremely sharp. He naturally understood the reason Xiaoyan had established the Sky Mansion. Xiaoyan remained relatively calm in the face of the look the ancestor of the pill tower gave him. He did not intend to scheme against the pill tower. The matter of the alliance was beneficial to him and also benefited the pill tower. The pill tower had been fighting against the Hall of Souls for quite some time, and an increasing number of alchemists who had been threatened by the Hall of Souls jumped to a new side. A sharp-eyed person would easily be able to notice such a development. It was likely that the extremely wise ancestor of the pill tower also understood what was happening. Therefore, Xiaoyan was not worried that the ancestor would find trouble with him. "Leave that old fellow who will not die, Hun Shinamo, to me. I do not dare to say that I can defeat him, but a draw is not the worst outcome." The ancestor of the pill tower laughed as he softly spoke. "Elder, thank you very much." Xiaoyan sighed in relief. With these words as a guarantee, a factor of uncertainty would be missing from this decisive battle. The ancestor of the pill tower. Unexpectedly, we have seen this legendary being this time around. It is rumored that this ancestor's actual form is a Tier 9 Xian pill. It is likely that he is the only medicinal pill of this tier in this world. If he is refined... Shut up. Are you seeking death? The strength of this pill tower's ancestor has already reached an overwhelming level. Although there are some in the world who can defeat him, it is likely really difficult to find someone who can steadily refine him. He, however, whoever really experiences that blessing would likely. The appearance of the ancestor from the pill tower had undoubtedly stirred a big commotion within the surrounding mountains. Some of the experts from the older generation revealed startled faces. Their eyes contained some respect and fear as they looked at the ancestor. At the same time, there were some strange thoughts surging deep within their hearts. After putting aside the strength of the ancestor from the pill tower, his actual body as a Tier 9 Xian pill was enough to cause an elite Do Sheng to go crazy with red eyes. "Old ghost, it seems that you are intending on going against my Hun clan." Hunamo Qian's shriveled face slightly shook the moment the ancestor from the pill tower appeared. His voice was hoarse as he said, "In the past, our Hun clan has not attacked the pill tower on account of you. This action of yours is not wise." "Haha, you undying old thing. Don't you think that speaking these superficial words in front of me is a little comical?" The ancestor of the pill tower smiled faintly upon hearing this threat. He laughed. If the Hall of Souls had experienced the right opportunity, it would have already attacked long ago. Do you think I do not understand you people? All right, there is no need to say such unnecessary words. It has been many years since I have fought with you. I wonder just how much your strength has risen compared to back then. I will let you know. The strange glow within Hun Qian Mo's eyes became brighter. The distance of his voice had also gradually become indistinguishable as his body became a little illusory. All of you should be careful. The ancestor from the Pill Tower faintly smiled faintly upon seeing Hun Qian Mo's actions. He turned his head and informed Xiao Yan's group, after which his body quietly disappeared. The next time it reappeared, he was already in the air. He gently waved his hand, and the surrounding space rippled. Immediately, a chaotic space was created by him. Hun Qian Mo, the outside area is far too small. Let's enter and fight. The ancestor of the Pill Tower stood in front of the entrance to the spatial tunnel. He laughed in the direction of Hun Qian Mo below, after which he turned around and entered that spatial tunnel. After reaching their level, they were able to randomly create a realm to fight in, but this hurriedly formed space was unstable. It would usually disappear after the battle came to an end. Himph, do you think I am afraid of you? Hun Qian Mo coldly laughed upon seeing the ancestor leave. His body moved, and everyone saw the space in the air fluctuate. A figure charged into that spatial tunnel with lightning-like speed. Soon after the both of them entered the realm, the space rippled and became transparent. Everyone's eyesight was able to penetrate this transparent space and see the two figures floating within the chaotic space. One of these figures was the ancestor of the Pill Tower, and the other was Hun Qian Mo. These two are elite 6-star Doshangs. Haha, it looks like this trip was not made in vain. A fight at this level is extremely rare across the entire continent. The entire mountain range quickly broke into an uproar as the two individuals charged into the realm one after another. This would be the first time most of the people present would be witnessing a face-off between experts of this level. Buzz buzz. The ancestor from the Pill Tower and Hun Qian Mo did not utter anything unnecessary after entering the realm. They immediately began an extremely heated battle in front of many excited eyes. Even though they were in a different realm, some monstrous energy ripples still spread. The muffled sound of a chiming bell caused many to feel their chests constrict. The battle erupted with lightning-like speed. The frightening energy assault, which could easily destroy the world, caused the hearts of many people to tremble. A strength at that level was really far too attractive. Shia Chin's eyes glanced at that realm after the battle erupted within that space, after which he slowly stepped forward without expression. His eyes glanced between the chief of the Hall of Souls and old man Hun Mo. His voice cracked slightly as he asked, "Who will step forward next?" Shia Chin's voice was not loud. However, it appeared to possess a mysterious strength that could cause one's soul to tremble. Many pairs of eyes that had been watching the fight in the created realm shot over. The chief of the Hall of Souls and old man Hun Mo exchanged glances after looking at Shia Chin. Old man Hun Mo revealed a dark expression on his elderly face. He took 2 steps forward in front of everyone and said, "Blood Axe Shia Chin, you were extremely renowned back then. However, you are currently a little outdated. We will know whether I am outdated after exchanging blows." Shia Chin's expression was still extremely rigid, but his heart became a little more solemn. Regardless of how awful old man Hun Mo's words were, there was indeed a reason behind the. If he had been able to train normally until now, he would not even need to worry about Hun Qian, much less old man Hun Mo. Being a genius of the Shao clan, he had been filled with pride and confidence. Unfortunately, the truth was ultimately harsh. It had not been easy for him to retain his life after being trapped within the illusion for thousands of years. The increase in his strength had also extremely slow, allowing even old man Hun Mo who was from the younger generation of the Hun clan, to surpass him. Old man Hunamo strangely laughed after hearing this reply. His robe fluttered in the absence of wind before he paused in the sky. A vast and mighty do-chi erupted from his body in all directions. In an instant, a black fog blotted out the distant sky. The light over the entire mountain range became a lot dimmer. Gulp. Such a frightening do-chi pressure from Old Man Hunamo caused saliva to be swallowed around the mountain range. Many startled eyes landed on Old Man Hunamo. Although the fight within the created realm was even more terrifying, it was isolated from everyone present. The shock from that other battle could not compare to directly witnessing such do-chi. Advanced 5-star do-sheng. There are really many experts within the Hun clan. Some of the grand elders within the sect quietly sighed at this moment. They were envious of the Hun clan's mighty foundation. That Shia Chin is rumored to be someone from the Shao clan, but from the looks of it, it will be a little difficult for him to beat Old Man Hunamo. Ugh, it will indeed be an intense battle. The conversations that spread in all directions did not cause even the slightest fluctuation to appear in Shia Chin's eyes. At this moment, his eyes were only focused on that figure below the vast black cloud in the sky. He stared at Old Man Hunamo as a gradual heat filled his eyes. Those who challenge the might of the Shao clan shall die. Shia Chin slowly clenched his hand, and a 100-foot-large blood-soaked axe suddenly appeared. A bright red color also gradually consumed his eyes at this moment. A low roar that belonged to the Shao clan from the previous era penetrated through buried history and echoed across thousands of years in a blood-boiling fashion. A low and deep roar was emitted from Shia Chin's mouth, causing Xiao Yan's heart to tremble at this moment. A strange feeling that originated from deep within his bloodline gradually spread to every part of his body. That feeling caused his soul to tremble. That feeling was an old pride. It was a pride that originated from a clan that had once stood at the peak of the continent. Even though the clan had already declined, that pride was still deeply buried within his bloodline. No one dared to challenge the might of the Shao clan at its peak. Even the Hun clan could only quietly hide like a poisonous snake. They waited for their opponent to weaken before launching a fatal attack. The current Shao clan does not have the qualification to utter these words. Old Man Hunamo lowered his head. His eyes were like poisonous snakes as they stared at Shia Chin, who was holding a large blood-colored axe. Old Man Hunamo mocked him. Even though the Shao clan has declined, you do not have the qualification to give such an evaluation. Shia Chin's eyes were frighteningly cold. His foot slammed on the ground, and with a flash, he appeared above Old Man Hunmo's head. His enormous blood-colored axe was just like a divine axe that could split the world as it ruthlessly hacked toward Old Man Hunamo. Won't you know whether this elderly self is qualified after you try him personally? Old Man Hunamo coldly laughed as Shia Chin's extremely mighty attack came. He shook his sleeve and over a dozen white bones shot out. Black fog spluttered and swiftly formed a white spiderweb in front of him. He allowed the huge axe to continue down unperturbed. GG. The powerful strength contained in the enormous axe was quickly removed as it struck the web. The speed at which the large axe landed slowed. It seemed as though it had fallen into a quagmire. In the end, it halted just half a foot from Old Man Hunamo. Blood Axe Shia Chin is but only so great. Is that so? A red glow flashed across Shia Chin's eyes upon hearing this. A trace of blood suddenly appeared as that huge axe was once again swung down. That silk-like bone web was easily cut apart, and the axe continued toward Old Man Hunmo's throat. This sudden unexpected change caused Old Man Hunamo to feel slightly startled, but he did not panic. His bone-like hand made a strange arc before gently pressing against the axe, after which he randomly slammed against it with his hand. One could hear a loud sound. That enormous blood-colored axe was actually sent off course. The axe cut away and only removed a lock of Old Man Hunmo's hair. Humph! Old Man Hunmo had suffered a loss during this initial exchange due to being arrogant. His expression became a little dark and cold. The seals formed by his hands suddenly changed as the dark cloud above him, which blotted out the sun, suddenly emitted countless of sharp, miserable screeches. One could even vaguely see an unimaginable number of figures struggling within the dark cloud. Sky Demon Blood Insect, bite? That black cloud in the sky suddenly churned after Old Demon Hunmo's dark and cold cry sounded. A moment later, a fierce aura that did not belong to a human suddenly surged from the dark cloud. A piercing bloody light tore through the dark cloud like lightning in front of tons of pairs of shocked eyes. It wildly charged toward Shia Chin at speed one could not react to. Ground-splitting hack. The enormous blood-soaked axe in Shia Chin's hand wildly danced like a windmill as he watched the bloody light rapidly magnify in front of him. The axe paused and a 10,000-foot-large bloody glow erupted from the axe. It was accompanied by waves deep sonic booms as it violently collided with the blood glow with lightning-like speed. Splutter! That bloody light flew tens of thousands of feet back after being ruthlessly struck by that 10,000-foot-large bloody glow. A sharp, strange cry appeared as a couple of mountains were turned into dust. Although it had suffered a serious blow, the life force of the blood light was extremely strong. It once again rushed over after just stabilizing its body. This time around its speed much slower. Many people could clearly make out its appearance. The sound from the inhalation of cold air continued to appear. That blood light was a toad-like object. However, it was completely dark red in color. There was a countless number of protruding clusters of flesh on its body. If one were to examine it carefully, one would notice that the clusters of flesh possessed many ferocious human faces. It is actually the soul-cursed toad. This Old Man Hunmo is really ruthless. Yao Lao scanned this ferocious and frightening blood toad from a short distance away and spoke with a somewhat ugly expression. Xiao Yin knit his brows. He had heard of this soul-cursed toad. It was rumored to be formed by gathering many souls together before forcing all the souls to kill each other. A tear which, some other ingredients would be gathered, and the soul-cursed toad would be refined. This thing was similar to a puppet, but due to it being forcefully formed by gathering many souls together, it also ended up gaining an intelligence. However, this intelligence was accompanied by a violent nature. Once this thing was released, it would go on a wild killing spree. In the end, it would even attack its owner. Normally, only an extremely ruthless person would refine it. Countless pairs of eyes stared at the blood toad from around the mountain range. Hatred and fear, which could not be hidden, involuntarily appeared in their eyes. Clearly, many people had heard about the soul-cursed toad's fierce reputation. Go! Old Man Hunmo ignored these gazes. A stern expression surfaced on his face. His finger pointed towards Shia Chin, who was a short distance away. That soul-cursed toad once again shot forth after obtaining its orders. Old Man Hunmo, on the other hand, continued to launch sneak attacks while the soul-cursed toad held back Shia Chin. Each of sneak attack was ruthless and targeted Shia Chin's fatal spots. Old Man Hunmo was intending on killing the Shia Chin. Faced with the combined attack of man and toad, Shia Chin had no choice but to switch from offense to defense. He even vaguely appeared to be at a disadvantage. It seems that the situation is quite bad. Yao Lao and the others frowned and softly made some comments after seeing this scene. On the other hand, those from the Hall of Souls revealed some joyous faces. Xiao Yan's eyes focused on Shia Chin. Shia Chin might be restrained in every way, but his expression had not changed much. Xiao Yan quietly sighed in relief upon noticing this. Although Ancestor Shia Chin seemed to be a little weaker than Old Man Hunmo, he was still a top-tier person. The many experiences he had accumulated were not things that Old Man Hanamo could match. I wonder what the situation is like in that realm. Xiao Yan's head turned to the realm, which had been built earlier. The battle inside had gradually become extremely heated. Even though they were in another realm, Xiao Yan was still able to sense the destructive force erupting within it, but it was currently impossible to clearly observe the battle situation inside with just one's naked eyes. Hence, he could not make out the situation inside. 2 of the 3 battles are currently proceeding, yet the chief of the Hall of Souls has not attacked. It is likely that he intends to wait for the 2 battles to end before deciding. This thought lingered in Xiao Yan's heart. If both Old Man Hanamo and Hun Xianamo were victorious, the Hall of Souls would have won 2 out of the 3 rounds. Then, there would be no need to proceed with the final fight. The battle in the sky became more intense while Xiao Yan was thinking to himself. The sharp exchanges caused one's eyes to be dazzled. Only some of the sharp-eyed individuals were able to barely follow that flickering human figure. Bang! While Shia Chin and Old Man Hanamo were engaging in a ferocious and intense battle, a shocking thunder-like explosion suddenly sounded. Everyone's eyes were immediately attracted by this explosion. One could see the spatial tunnel from earlier suddenly exploding apart as 2 figures flew out of it. Both of them withdrew by 100 steps before they slowly stabilized their bodies. They have come out. Many exclamations rang around the mountain range after seeing the 2 figures shooting out of the spatial tunnel. Old ghost, you do have some skill. Hun Xianamo stabilized his body in the sky. He did not appear miserable. Even his clothes did not appear to have been touched, but an expert like Xiao Yan was able to tell that the dou qi within this old fellow's body had been exhausted to a relatively miserable extent. From this exhaustion, it was possible to infer just how intense the fight was within that realm. The ancestor from the pill tower in the distance merely smiled but did not speak. Elder Qianamo, what is the result? Elder, what is the result? Both the chief of the Hall of Souls and Xiao Yan below opened their mouths at the same time. The result of the fight between these 2 individuals was critical at this moment. Hun Xianamo and the ancestor from the pill tower hesitated for a moment upon hearing these questions. They exchanged glances before both saying, "Consider it a draw." The strength of the 2 was quite similar. It was possible to determine a victor if they were to fight an all-out battle to the death, but it was impossible for the both of them to fight it out to such a stage. The chief of the Hall of Souls and Xiao Yan were startled upon hearing these words. Xiao Yan's reaction was still all right, but the chief of the Hall of Souls ended up frowning. Clearly, he was a little dissatisfied with this result. You should not be dissatisfied. With this old demon intervening, it was quite good to end up in a draw. Hun Qianamo landed beside the chief of the Hall of Souls and informed him in a faint voice. He was quiet for a moment while his expression became a little darker. Finally, he lifted his head to look at the youthful figure in the distance. He muttered, "It is unexpected. He has actually reached that level. Perhaps the clan head will be interested." The chief of the Hall of Souls did not hear Hun Qianmo's muttering voice. He bitterly laughed before raising his head to look at the fiery hot battle between Old Man Hanamo and Shia Chin. He softly sighed, "As long as Old Man Hanamo is victorious, the situation will more or less be decided." Hun Qianmo lifted his head after hearing these words. He scanned the battleground and suddenly frowned. He shook his head and replied in a deep voice, "It will be a little difficult,